Good evening and welcome to Solihull Sixth Form College's online open evening. This is a student support session. My name is Bev Bishop. I am the marketing manager at Solihull Sixth Form College. I'm going to be talking to you this evening about academic coaching, about our additional learning support services and student welfare. And then I'll be handing over to Assistant Principal Louise Dale-Barron, who will be talking about safeguarding, financial support, how to make an application and what our entry requirements are. So I'm going to start by talking about academic coaching. Now, academic coaches are like tutors, and they are there to support students during their time at the college. So every student will be allocated a particular member of staff as their academic coach. They will be supported in a number of ways during their time at college. One of these ways is one-to-one meetings, which will take place usually at least once a term. Some students require a bit more support than others. So an academic coach should be the first point of contact for students, but also for parents as well. And they are there to support students with their studies, but also with their progression after college. There will be weekly timetabled coaching seminars. So these will be sessions that students will attend with other students in their coaching group. And they will go through a range of topics over the course of the 2 years of study. So, for example, one session might be on study skills. And we will introduce students quite early on in their time at college to something called the VESPA mindset. Now, VESPA stands for Vision, Effort, Systems, Practice and Attitude. And this is a mindset that we get our students to engage in throughout their time at college. It helps them to become independent learners. It helps students to get the most out of their studies whilst they're with us, whether they're doing A-level or BTEC studies. Sessions will also cover things like careers and progression, keeping students safe, that's both in person and online. There will be health and well-being sessions as well. And then sometimes there will be topical issues, often related to things related to British values. Now, a significant part of the work that our academic coaches do is supporting students in their progression after college. Now, for the vast majority of our students, that involves going on to university. But we do have students that go on and do higher apprenticeships, or students as well that go directly into employment. And the academic coaches will be there to support students with these applications. In particular, when applying to university, students will have to write something called a personal statement. This is a really significant part of making an application. And our academic coaches are there to support students and make sure that that personal statement is the very best it can be, so that students are getting the offers that they're looking for. Additional learning support is another area in which we support students. We have a team of staff who will help students with a range of additional needs. Now, every single member of staff at the college is trained with dyslexia awareness and how to help students who suffer with dyslexia. But our additional learning support team are also there to help with a range of other issues like dyspraxia, autism and Asperger's, visual and hearing impairments, physical disability, medical needs. And we do have a dedicated member of staff who is there to support students' mental health needs as well. That has particularly been an issue following the pandemic and the issues that that has raised with students. It has been a particularly troubling time for everybody, and we do have staff that are trained to support students in that area. Now, we do tailor the support we offer to the individual, so each case is treated on its merits, and we will put in reasonable adjustments based on a history of need. So often we're getting information about the support that students have received at school, but also obviously in line with the available resources that we can offer. Now, the types of support that we could offer, for example, some students benefit from a one-to-one enabler who will actually go into lessons with them. Some students need note-taking support. We do look at the educational healthcare plans for students and other relevant paperwork that we may have access to, and then we will put in the appropriate support according to that healthcare plan. Some students get particular exam access arrangements. So for some students, they will benefit from perhaps 25% extra time, a reader or use of a computer. We do review students' additional needs regularly, We do liaise with other bodies outside of college if that is what's needed, so that we're always ensuring that this is not a barrier to a student's success at the college. The additional learning support team are set up in a particular building, and they do have access to quiet study areas away from crowds. So, for example, we do have students that perhaps would find studying in our library and learning centre with hundreds of other students a difficult environment to work in. So there is quiet study space for those students. Now, when it comes to student welfare, we also have staff in a number of other roles there to support students. Our student development officers, this is a team of staff who are there to support students with social events. They're also there to help with charity fundraising. They work with the student council, and they also work with students that working in particular enrichment. So enrichments are activities that take place alongside a student's main programme of study. One example is our Student Health Ambassador scheme, in which students are delivering healthy living messages to their peers. Typically, these are events that are run over lunchtimes in our refectory. Students do also have the option as an enrichment to set up their own society. So they may have particular interests, and if there are other students that share those interests, they might decide to meet once a week and partake in particular activities around those societies. So, for example, it might be a debating club, it could be a gaming society, it might be faith groups, things of that nature. And the student development officers will be there to support students with the activities that take place within those societies. Now, we do have a dedicated member of staff who's there to support young adult carers. So this is a minority of students who are usually supporting a family member at home who might be disabled, mentally or physically ill. There might be a long-term serious illness, and these students can really benefit from a dedicated member of staff at college to help them throughout their time at college. Now, something that is available to all students is a counselling service. Now, there are many people that students can talk to during their time at college: academic coach, their teachers, but we do have 2 qualified counsellors who provide a confidential talking service. Now, this might be that students need support with issues related to their work in college. It might be exam stress, for example. But it could be something completely unrelated to college life. It might be that there are some issues at home. Students may be suffering from anxiety or depression, and we do offer this confidential service to students who would benefit from somebody to talk to. We do ask that students self-refer to a counsellor. That's a really important first step for students to make, so that they are seeking the help themselves. Now, that is all I'm going to discuss now. What I'm going to do next is pass on to Louise Dale-Barron, who is the assistant principal here at the college, and she's going to start by talking about safeguarding.
Good evening, everybody. So safeguarding is something that the college takes really seriously. All of our staff receive safeguarding training, and we have a team of safeguarding staff led by a safeguarding lead, and this team of 5 receives regular in-depth training. One of those team of 5 is our mental health lead. So she's newly appointed this year, and she works with students who need some additional support with their mental health. All of our students are told how to raise any concerns they have for their welfare or the welfare of a friend, and that will be picked up by a member of the safeguarding team, and they will support them through whatever issue they may be facing. So another type of support that we offer in college is financial support. So when students apply to us, if their household income is gross income, that is below £25,000, they are able to apply for a bursary. So the bursary is there to support students with the costs associated with their learning. So the amount of bursary is a contribution towards the cost associated with studying. It may not cover all of the costs associated, but does provide a contribution towards those costs. So when students apply for bursary, they select from a range of support options. Majority of our students will ask for support with travel to and from college and receive a bus pass. Some may get a laptop, some may get an equipment grant, which may cover things like books or stationery and so on. And the bursary can also be used in year 13 to cover the UCAS application fee, for example. So when students apply to university in year 13, there is a fee associated with that, and the bursary can be used for that. There are a different bursary for students in defined vulnerable groups. So, for example, any young person who's in care, they are managed in a slightly different way to the general bursary. Students can also receive free meals when they're in college. So on days when they're in college, they can get a free meal from the refectory. We assess eligibility for free meals at the same time as bursary, so it's a combined application. So students don't apply for bursary or free meals until they have enrolled with us. So at the start of the academic year in September, there's an application process that students need to go through, providing supporting documentation, and then their application is assessed for the level of bursary which will be awarded to the student and the support that can be given. So when students apply to the college, we ask students to complete an online application form. So initially, when students log on to this platform, which you can link through to from our website, it'll take you through to a page and students are asked to create themselves a login for the first time as a registered user. So students can log back in and out at any time to update their application, to check the status of their application. So students do not need to complete their application to college all in one go. And in fact, when a student's completing the application, it may be that they do need to take some time to go back and reflect about actually what they do want to study and the reasons why they like to study that particular programme. The website has got lots of information about the courses that we offer and also the different entrance criteria for the different subjects, but I'll speak a little bit more about that shortly. So once students have submitted their application, they'll receive an email confirmation back to say that we've received it, and we contact schools directly for a reference. That's nothing that students need to worry about. We do that. We'll check through your application, make sure you're likely to meet the entrance criteria for the college, and then we'll send an invitation to interview. Now that invitation to interview is nothing to worry about. The interview is not something to get stressed about. It's an opportunity for us to find out a little bit more about you, about the courses that you've chosen, and whether your courses that you want to study A-level or BTEC are going to take you to where you want to go after sixth form, whether that's university or apprenticeship. Students with offers are invited to our Welcome to College Day events, which this year are taking place at the end of June and start of July. So at end of June, students will be able to join some taster sessions for the subjects they're holding offers in, and then also in July we'll have an opportunity to come around site. Enrolment takes place after GCSE results are released. So GCSE results are released at the end of August. Once you have your final GCSE results, you can book an enrolment appointment to come along to college to formalise your programme, what you want to be studying with us. And that takes place this year at the end of August and the start of September. Really important that if you haven't got your application in yet, that you do so soon. Our deadline for applications is the 31st of March, and we do expect all applications to be submitted to us before that deadline. So the entrance requirements for college. So the standard 3 A-level programme, at least 2 grade 6s at GCSE and a further 3 grade 4s at GCSE to include English language and maths. So that's not English literature, it is English language. For our BTEC programme, it's the same. The difference, however, here is that subjects other than GCSEs can count towards the entrance requirements for BTEC courses. So, for example, if you're studying a BTEC First or an OCR National, you can use those to count towards your entrance criteria for any of our BTEC programmes. We have a small number of students who follow a 4 A-level programme. So students here need to have at least 5 grade 7s at GCSE and at least a grade 6 in English language and maths again. We do have some students who do a 4 A-level programme, including further maths. You obviously need to be studying A-level maths to do further maths as well, and you will need to get at least a grade 7 in GCSE maths in order to be able to do further maths. Some of our subjects have enhanced subject entrance criteria as well. So what I've just talked to you about here is the general entrance criteria for college. You really do need to check the subject entrance requirements on our website. So the courses information page, where you're reading all about the courses, what you'll learn, on that same page, it tells you what the entrance requirements are for those subjects. So some may say standard entrance requirements apply, and some may give you some more specific details about the specific GCSEs which you need in order to be able to study that particular A level. So that's the main body of our presentation. Now I'll just hand back to Bev to see what questions we have to answer.
Thanks ever so much for that, Louise. So it looks like we've done a pretty thorough job. We don't seem to have any questions yet. I'm just going to give it a minute to see if anybody wants to type any questions in. If not, we will bring this presentation to a conclusion. But if you do have questions, type them in the Q&A and we'll be happy to answer them. Okay, I don't think anything's coming through, so thank you very much for listening. Remember, there is a principal's presentation taking place at 6:30 this evening. Thank you and good night.